Welcome to the pit.
Welcome home, Ghosties. I know we cut off abruptly last night, so there's one more story whose beginnings you didn't get a chance to hear.
Mama Olive, is this where you meet the others?
Oh no, I wouldn't meet Xander and Katara for quite some time.
Well, we told our story. It's only right that you get the time to tell yours.
Well, I was born in the mountains, in a grand elven town made of marble and stone. It was a city built on tradition and order, where all of the kids were collectively raised by the elders as we grew up under their religious teachings. We were taught to pray, to trust the hand our fates had dealt us, to follow this structure closely. Truthfully, it's difficult to remember exactly what they taught us. I suppose I never really paid much attention. Most of my time was spent climbing the trees that grew on the outskirts. They towered above everything, and I'd pull myself higher and higher until I could see for miles. Over the mountains, past the sea, and further still. It was impossible not to wonder what else was out there. The elders considered it such a waste of time, and so did the other kids. They'd laugh when I tore up my dresses, when I came to prayer late covered in mud, and they used to call me... What did they call me? Anyway, when the time came, my mind was made up. As soon as I was declared of age, I left. And I walked. I wandered the lands, day after day, night after night, far away from anything I'd ever known. The fear never left me. I mean, if I came across a fox or a pack of wolves, I would have been doomed, but that never stopped me. All that mattered was touching new ground and tasting new air, having no way of knowing how far the ground would take me. I had no plans, no map, no destination, but I had dreams, so many of them. I hadn't planned to stop moving so soon, but somewhere along the way I found a place to call my own. I built a small, humble cottage in the middle of a grand field, untouched by the rest of humanity, and I lived there for years.
All by yourself?
No, I lived there with my children. I never imagined that I would have a family. I just blinked, and like a gust of wind blowing through my life, I was a mother. For the very first time. I raised them on my own, but that was alright. We were all each other needed, and I planned to always take them with me, wherever I went in the world. You would have liked them. They were just like you. They loved stories, too.
What were they like?
Oh, let's just say the house was never quiet when we were in it. There was always something. Someone running or falling, someone dancing or singing. There was a swing set in a nearby forest that they'd play on for hours, then come home just before sunset with their faces red and their knees stained green. I knew they'd been in the garden when the floors were covered in muddy footsteps. The kind of thing you got used to with little ones in the house. It was strange, but things like that gave me purpose. Whenever I looked down at them, I saw myself, in scattered pieces. One of them loved to sing with me. One of them named every animal in the valley. One of them looked just like me, but she liked having things her way, didn't she? But it was always okay in the end. All of them knew that there was nothing they could do that I wouldn't forgive them for. Each day was different, full of their own adventures and discoveries, sometimes fights or mishaps. And yet, each day was the same. They all began with morning birds and ended with a bedtime story. And they were all beautiful. I ached because I watched them grow up and I knew that time was fleeting, even though it felt endless. But I worried about nothing in those days. Maybe a skin knee or a bruise, maybe a thunderstorm or a drought, maybe a nightmare every now and then, but that was it. We had nothing to be afraid of. There were no bad things.
Where did they go?
They're still with us, in a way.
Is that when you went to save Xander and Tara?
No, Olive never saw us in the pit. When we managed to escape, it was just the two of us. Right, Tara?
Right. Just like I had promised Xander 6 years beforehand.
Tara had been coming up with a plan to get us out of there. All we needed was a distraction. But by then, we weren't the only ones getting restless with our situation. Kids were getting angry, standing up to guards, protecting each other. It never went well, but unease was rising. Silas was one of those kids. He was about my age, another prisoner in the pit. He was kind in a place where kindness had died. He stood up for the younger kids. He told them stories in the holding cells. He hummed in his cell after dark as the kids tried to sleep. The guards despised his optimism, and he spent a lot of time in the solitary confinement cells. But he was also strong. Strong like Tara was, undefeated in the pit. I wanted to be more like him. Confident, strong, able to protect the people I loved. But I guess in a place like the pit, kindness isn't a virtue you survive with.
For us to escape, I knew that we needed complete chaos. I just never intended for it to happen the way that it did.
I wanted to be just like him.
Everything will be okay. You go. I'll be right behind you.
We have to go.
I didn't mean to.
I know.
He just... Silas and...
I know.
I didn't mean to.
Xander, it's okay. I know you didn't mean to, but we have to go. Now's our only chance. I couldn't believe we made it out of there.
Everything changed that day.
Yeah, it did. But, I'm gonna head off, okay?
Olive, are you... okay?
Yes.
Are you sure? I know today was a bit heavy and... I don't know, you seemed a little...
Xander, I have had years to come to terms with this. More than you could ever understand. Everything that happened, the things I've seen, the things I've done, well, it led me to you, didn't it? I wouldn't have any of this otherwise.
But...
And it's, like you said, they're always with me.
Alright.